Hi, I've made a couple of videos today about Trump's wall and the ridiculousness of this whole charade of him begging Congress for a measly $5 billion for funding for it, when apparently it's an issue of national security. And the Pentagon has a slush fund, a petty cash fund of 150 billion, you see. Now, my other video is bringing the narrative, the political narrative now, into the 21st century and taking it out of antiquated, what amounts to antiquated rhetoric that is riding on antiquated propaganda about socialism and capitalism, and how what we need to do is accept that the political debate now has moved on. It is a battle between socio-capitalism and corporate communism, global corporate communism, or nationalised socio-capitalism. So within the context of socio-capitalism, every nation can stand independently. In the context of corporate capitalism, we are looking at the imposition of Stalin's Soviet communism, corporate in the form of the corporation now. Stalin's gone, it's been replaced with the corporation, who want to impose corporate communism on every nation. So every nation, no matter how independent they appear on the surface, that's just a facade, because in reality every nation will be owned and controlled by the global corporations, who are affiliated to no nation, who pay barely any taxes, and who are the ones that are choosing and funding our politicians and dictating to the extent, their prime purpose at the moment is to utterly annihilate human rights. They want to annihilate human rights. Now, this video, I'll leave you the links to it. It's about the housing crisis about to hit Australia. Well, it's already hitting. And we know it's already hit America. It's happened in Britain. People's mortgages are actually higher than what their house is now valued at. So even if they sell the house, they can't pay off the debt that they've agreed to by taking on a mortgage, a death grip, because that's what the word mortgage means, mortgage, French, death grip. Okay? So, and that's what corporate communism does. That's what this new world order is all about. The new world order will be Stalin, and the rest of us will be Soviet Earth, won't we? Soviet communist Earth. There for them to vamp off. They don't care how much of the population they kill off. They've got all the power, because it's about power ultimately. They've got the power. And we know that a lot of these little individual corporations are all subsidiaries of bigger corporations, and a lot of them tied to military corporations like Raytheon and whoever, So this is why we need to let the light shine. Let the light shine. Now, I know a lot of people are put off by me because I've had this, what a lot of people would call a religious experience. It wasn't a religious experience. It was a supernatural experience within this mundane world that just simply absolutely refuses to accept anything that falls outside of its mainstream dialogues, its mainstream narratives. So, the issue of child abuse, it's all right to talk about that as long as it's historical. You see, the issue of real supernatural events, from UFOs to ghosts or whatever, the concept of God, again, that's all in the twilight zone. The official, if you want to talk about God, then you go to the official representatives on earth, as accepted by the official narratives, and that support the official narratives, like, for example, the Church of England, or the Pope in Rome, you see, or whoever, the Zionists of Israel. They can talk about God. Theresa May can talk about God as she's imposing austerity on people and imposing this absolutely ridiculous Brexit. on Britain as well. Literally got a knife at everybody's throats, because I tell you, it's going to be bad, okay? But I know it puts people off because I talk about light being and universal intelligence, and yes, I do suffer from complex PTSD, and yes, I was terribly abused as a child. I did survive child abuse, but I did get myself educated, okay? I didn't fall victim to the terrible pitfalls that commonly afflict people who come from my kind of background. And I don't say that to big myself up, because that is no judgment. It was just by my good fortune in life that I managed to avoid falling into drug addiction and alcoholism. You see, that was just my good fortune in this life. And it is because of that I'm able, because I've come from poverty, and I've also lived with quite wealthy people on the upper tiers of society, and because I'm educated and I understand things, that I know the people who commonly share my life experience haven't had those chances. So, you know, I haven't used my position in order to big myself up and better myself personally in life. You know, I don't own any property. I live in a rented house. I live on a minimum wage as a carer, okay? I have had these spiritual experience, these supernatural experience. I did witness an event of universal golden light being. I have tried to articulate that and understand it and share the message that it gave to me of universal law. And I've tried to present that not in the context of faith in terms of which faith you are aligned to, whether it be Judaism, Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, you know, all of those things. I am collectively bringing them together to say, yes, you all have a right, the various faiths, people have a right to their various faiths. Nobody's trying to take that away. But at the same time, every faith does now need to align with the concept of universal intelligence and the law that it's provided for universal intelligence in the form of humanity on this planet Earth. You see? And so what I share is sense. It's sense and sanity, because I have the benefit of light being, because I am enlightened. And, you know, I really hope that people can stop judging, that you can stop judging people like myself as mad, because we do talk about God in terms of universal intelligence, the super consciousness that is both male and female. You see, I'm here to obliterate the mystery and the lies and the falsehoods and the prejudices and the judgments that have all arisen out of the fake news told over the centuries by the misinterpretations of the religious texts, by the misinterpretations of politics, and that is what is going on today. People are still trapped in this debate between socialism and capitalism, but that isn't where the debate truly should be. That's not where it needs to be. The real debate, the hidden debate, the hidden agenda, because let's face it, it's not even up for debate, is it? It's not even up for debate. Venezuela has been, oh yeah, they're socialists, they're on the path to Soviet communism. Socialism, that's where it takes you. Even Denmark, according to Fox News, is on the path to Soviet communism because, you know, they're a socialist country, but they're not. Let's get real. Let's forget the propaganda, the fake news. Let's get real. Socio-capitalism is what Denmark is. Socio-capitalism is what Venezuela is trying to establish. Socio-capitalism is what the people of after World War II established in Britain. Socio-capitalism, not not Soviet communism. And the agenda is for this corporate communism to be imposed on our planet by stealth, while everybody's arguing between the capitalism and socialism. When that is neither here nor there right now. We're facing the new world order and its global corporate communism. With, instead of Stalin, like I say, you've got your corporations, your global corporations. And this is, and how they're doing it, how this power, this new world order is achieving greater and greater progress to the extent that, they can choose who is going to be president of a nation, regardless of the people's vote. They will choose who's going to be the president. They are able to do that precisely because they have divided, they're feeding off the divisions within the populace about who's a socialist and who's a capitalist. And while they're arguing and fighting between each other about, I'm not supporting socialism, I'm not supporting capitalism, capitalism's evil, socialism's evil, while the people are distracted with all of that, corporate communism's being rolled out. Smart meters in every nation. 5G in every nation. No, they're not going to test it. They're not going to make sure it's safe. We know it isn't safe, but they're not bothered because they're also serving their own agenda, aren't they? Of Agenda 21 and culling the human population to a manageable under 500 million. I mean, how dare they? But they're getting away with it because the people are so distracted and lost in the past. Well, it's time to move into the 21st century, and that's the light I'm shining. Not a religious light, a light of intelligence, a brightness, brighten up, people, brighten up. That is what I'm asking. That's what I'm sharing. Brightness, brighten up to the reality of what is going on. You see? And, the concept of God, universal intelligence, comes right into it, doesn't it? Because it appears that no matter which side people are on, whether it's the side of the socialists or the side of the capitalists, they all claim to have an allegiance with God. They can all say, well, God stands with me, the socialists and the capitalists. Well, how is that? Is God a divided entity? No. The reason why both sides can stand with God is because intelligence, universal intelligence, supports capitalism and supports socialism. So the capitalists and socialists presently at war with each other actually have more to gain by uniting into socio-capitalists and avoiding the horror that is waiting in the form of corporate communism. You see, that's the debate now. That's the debate. All these politicians, I support socialism, I support capitalism. No, sorry, you're gone. You're gone. Politicians, they're either going to be a corporate politician representing the global corporation and its corporate communism, or they're going to be a national politician representing the national interests of its people in the form of socio-capitalism. You see, unity makes sense. Unity is based on solid facts. This stuff that the New World Order's all about, it's a total fantasy. It's a total fantasy. And it is destroying our planet. It is, by the time they've satisfied their agenda, there'll only be enough place on Earth for 500 million people to live on anyway. And even they will lose what they have gone. Because the whole planet will be absolutely brought to destruction by the time they've finished with their agenda. They're losing time, they're behind, because they're slow, they're dim, they have no brightness. We have the brightness, and we need to employ our brightness to save our planet and to liberate the nations from this corporate death grip that even is taking people's homes off them. It really is outrageous. But the information I'm sharing is fantastic. It is a cause for celebration. It is a cause for people to get together, to understand that, yes, this is what we're up against. And to understand, well, who are the politicians who've been branded socialism by this global corporate, global corporation, their news medias like Fox News, okay, branding people like Jeremy Corbyn as Soviet Stalinists. No, it's their corporations that want to impose Stalin's communism on us. Jeremy Corbyn is a socio-capitalist, isn't he? He isn't going to abolish small businesses or businesses in Britain, is he? He isn't there to impose communism on us all, is he? The same in Venezuela with their president, their truly democratically elected president. He isn't there waiting to impose Stalin's communism on people, is he? He's there waiting to establish, trying to establish socio-capitalism. And this is what I mean about God, as far as I understand in the form of universal intelligence, does support capitalists and socialists. And if you want to progress humanity, if you're going to progress and actually survive the 21st century as a species, you are going to need to unite against insanity, against imbalance, against the lies and the fake news and the propaganda. Okay? Because when you unite in favour of sanity and reality, that then, yes, it is a threat. It is a threat. Our very unity, our very sense and sanity, our very intelligence is a threat to this new world order. Because it is inherently stupid. And it will destroy. It will destroy us, our planet, the life of our planet. It is doing that. We are aware of it. That these battles between capitalism and socialism aren't getting us anywhere. So the only way, really, is to move forward, isn't it? Progress, progress, progress. Now, another video I've made today, which I'll leave you the link under this, is about Trump's wall and the whole debate about funding for that. Again, another huge distraction for the American public, causing all kinds of social unrest. You know, the president with his shutdown, government shutdown, and now he's declared a state of national emergency. And according to the president, you know, the country's at risk. Except, you know, all these news medias, and especially the alternative news medias, that are still, you know, laughing about, oh yeah, his wall, you know, there isn't a terrorist threat. You're just keeping it going. You're just feeding into the distraction. Why don't you people, all news presenters, mainstream and alternative, why don't you ask the question that I've asked it in my video, that if America is at such terrible risk, the president has said terrorists are coming through, okay, because of lack of a fence on the border. You're talking about national security. He's got troops lined up, America's military lined up along the border because there's no wall and America's at serious risk. Well, take him at his word then. I say, all right then, you've cited a terrorist threat. Well, isn't that what the Pentagon's there for? To deal with terrorist threats? Isn't that why they're receiving 60% of America's national budget? Isn't that why they've got a petty cash slush fund on their table worth 150 billion? So why are you arguing with Congress for a measly 5 billion for your wall, which is an issue of national security? Go and ask the Pentagon to build it. You see, brightness just dissolves their debates, dissolves Trump's games that he's been playing with Congress, having a laugh while forcing the people to suffer, hundreds of thousands of people over Christmas to suffer insecurity, an actual fear about the future. Because he's saying, oh, you know, it might be for 2 years, this shutdown. And now a state of national emergency for 5 billion, for the sake of 5 billion. It is absolutely ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It's an insane when the Pentagon has 150 billion sat on its table as a slush fund. Well, you know, providing a fence for America's border, that's just, it's barely a fraction of the Pentagon's petty cash. So you see what I mean about what I'm sharing here, the brightness, the understanding that just cuts through the nonsense. And it is time for us to do it because, you know, our planet, we've got 10 years, you've got 10 years, humanity, before you pass the point of no return. 10 years. So we're going to have to start making some decisions fast, fast, fast. You know, it doesn't mean the planet is going to end in 10 years, but things are going to happen that really, do we even have a chance of saving our planet? And this is why, you know, Trump is a huge, huge media distraction, precisely in order to distract the public into these insane debates that are actually on insane premises, because it really is insane, isn't it, that our president is having to shut down the government and declare a state of a national emergency for the sake of 5 billion when the Pentagon's got 150 billion sitting on its table for petty cash. You see? It is absolutely insane that people are at war with each other over who's a capitalist and who's a socialist, when as a species we are naturally socio-capitalists, and that is the politics that works. Denmark works. Venezuela will work. Everybody will be prosperous. Everybody will be well educated, well paid, well cared for. There won't be this 1% of vampires enjoying socialism for themselves. You see? You see? And that's the message. This is the message of universal light being. So am I crazy for sharing that? Please stop judging me. Please pick up on the information. Pick up on the brightness. Get bright and be happy. Be assured. Lose the divisions. Lose the burden of loathing that each party feels for the other side. Understand that. No, look, you're being played. You're being played like pawns in a chess game. So, again, thank you for listening. To those people who listen, thank you. And I hope that you will share this information. I hope you will share it with the mainstream medias and the alternative medias and ask them to pick up on it. Because, as I say, I'm just a little insignificant person in this world, making my little rudimentary videos on my Bandicam, you know, trying to share this brightness and this unique experience that for some reason came to me. And I will say, you know, for a while, because it is a huge responsibility comes with an experience like that, and I did feel quite picked on. I really empathised with Jonah. I really did, you know, but you know, I had to learn, I had to understand, I had to self-develop. You know, 27 years I've lived with that, and it's all coming together now. Yes, I was knocked out in a way by what my consciousness was having to deal with after witnessing that event, and having to then face the flashbacks and the reality of my terrible childhood and face the damages that I had sustained and had up to that point, for most of my life, been trying just to cover because nobody wanted to deal with it. You know, I had reported the abuse and stuff, but nobody wanted to deal with it. It was like, no, shut up, go away. Oh no, you don't talk about things like that. So I just tried to survive by trying to be normal. You know, what passes as normal in this world. And simultaneously feeling within myself continually oppressed, continually having to oppress myself, you see. Whereas what's been shown to me now, and especially by events in the world, that no, this really is true intelligence. true intelligence, and I'm sharing it with you. I'm not asking for your money. I'm not asking for a seat of power. I'm asking you to pick up on that light and get bright with it and live with it, share it, spread it, support it, okay? Because the way forward, like I say, it isn't standing against the New World Order. We stand up for our humanity. And one of the ways that we do that is by choosing politicians who support socio-capitalism and turning our backs on those who wish to impose corporate communism on us. Yes, we've all seen Soviet Russia, thank you very much. You are not going to impose that on our planet so we can live and be governed by your insane designs for life. And we know they're insane. You've only got to look at Fukushima, haven't you? So, God bless to everybody.